It's when you say the Bible is a black African history. It's a history, but it's not an African history.
So tell me your position about this topic. Don't worry about the mastery situation. We might get back to him. Tell me why you came up. Do you have a question, contribution, contradiction?
The topic is very interesting for me. Maybe because I went to a theological school, so I just saw the topic
for 4 years. First degree or master's degree, or just?
Yes, just first degree.
Wow, what's the full name of your course, if you don't mind? University,
I studied Christian education.
Christian education. Wow, brilliant. Okay, tell me, how is this interesting to you?
It's when you say the Bible is a black African history. It's a history, but it's not an African history.
Okay, so tell me how.
I find it weird.
Weird. You find it weird, right?
Like when you call it black African, when you call it black African history, what you're trying to do is like, you're not this. First of all, these men were men, human beings, but not African.
Okay.
Like the way we call Africans currently now, they're not like Africans. They had their own origination they came from. Most of them were from present-day Israel. Most of them were back days Rome, Philip, Ephesus, Corinthians. So it's not an African history where like we are reliving it. It's more like for the theological, we call them inspirational people, which their lives is like a guidelines for us to follow and pick on the ones that works for us.
Okay, quick.
So when I say pick out the one for us, okay.
Yeah, sorry. What if taught you? Is it University of Lagos or Nigerian University, right?
Sorry, come again, sir. I think
University of Lagos or
no, it's a seminary.
Seminary,
West
4
African
years.
Theological Seminary. Yeah.
Sorry, the name again. Sorry, please, if you don't mind.
West African Theological Seminary.
Seminary. Do you know who invented? Who is he? An African that owns that school?
Founder.
Or, yeah.
No, he's a white man. Professor Gary Maxim.
Gary Maxim from England, Scotland, America, Netherlands in Europe. Okay. So this idea that what is inside the Christian, inside the Bible, they are men, their stories are inspirational, we should learn from it. Is it your own conclusion after going to the school, or was that what was taught as part of the curriculum in the school?
That was what was taught, actually. That was what we
Oh, so
these are inspirational beings that we should learn from.
Right. But so that means in that theological school for 4 years, they really existed, because I remember the things you were saying the other time when you were interjecting mastery. That's the guy. That is like they really existed, yes, and they were about to honor life. Those men were about to die, yes, and then their children started to make stories out of real experiences, but they're not fully accurate, especially the miracles. They just put it together to embellish it, to make it inspirational, correct?
They really existed, yeah.
Right?
And as I said, these stories were told orally before. There was no written document originally about these men.
Okay.
So the reason why they started to write about these men was because people that actually had first-hand experience, like seeing these men, knew about them. We are now going. They were dying. So they needed their story to like live on. Just like we have stories of Wole Soyinka going about. So they needed
Written.
Yes, so they got people that had first-hand experience with these people to document their story.
The documentation, were they real? Were they eventually accurate? Did those miracles happen? Did somebody stretch a rod and the water parted?
Yeah, somebody did. So the fact that we did not see it, we didn't get to witness it, does not mean it didn't happen.
Does not mean it doesn't happen. Okay, so at least they acknowledge the supernatural in your theological doctrine.
Sir, come again.
They acknowledge the supernatural events in your theological curriculum.
Yes, they do.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, all right. So you were going to add on top of that, or is that what you wanted to say? So I can.
Okay, I wanted to say something. So when we talk about, when we talk about documentation, if you are not the first-hand receiver of that information, you will not put it the way it was given to you.
Okay.
For instance, now, if you tell me the chair looks like a dog,
from oral to verbal,
I might probably not pass it. Yes, I might probably not pass it the same way.
Okay.
Yes, I might not pass it down to the same way to the other people. So,
okay.
The documentation may not be 100%.
100%.
It has certain things that most of the things written in there happened. And we had translation going on. The Bible has been translated from Hebrew to English. There are still certain Greek words that they have not known the meaning. So the Bible was translated. So when you translate from one, translation is a whole lot. When you translate, when you talk about the translation, there are words that they will have to sit down, see it from different perspectives, different angle, and know what it actually means.
Do you understand Yoruba?
Might not be 100%.
Do you understand Yoruba language, Vivian? What language do you speak?
No. I'm a Northern person.
Netherlands.
Northern. I'm from the north.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, the north. Okay. Let's talk about this then. Of course, the Middle East guys that are there today, what do you think? Do you think they are really the descendants of Abraham, or have you thought about it? Or does the school talk about it?
Personally, when you ask me, I'll say we are all the descendants of Abraham, not just them.
Okay, that's fair enough. So maybe they're kind of just trying to take it for themselves only, and that's not quite right, isn't it?
Yeah. Yes. The Bible calls Israel. Sorry, the Bible called Israel personally, because back in the olden days, they were known as God-chosen people. So specifically, just Israel alone, the Jewish alone, they were considered God's people. So at the coming of Christ, everybody
that's theology
that accepted Christ
became God's people.
Part of them.
Okay.
Yes.
I almost forgot my question.
Sorry.
Yeah. So fair enough. I forgot what I wanted. So would you say that they are just trying to make it look like they are the only chosen people, and that's not true, right? Oh, I remember my question.
We look at it.
I remember my question. Sorry. This is not. I hope you're not feeling pressured.
No.
Okay. We're trying to learn from someone who's literally. I've not been to a theological school myself. Not for 4 years. Okay. Right. So, my point is, did they talk about the Jews in the Middle East in your curriculum? Do you remember?
Yeah.
Sorry?
They do.
So what did they say about that?
When we talk about the Middle East, they consider themselves more closer to God because they have the important figures we read in our Bibles today. They had Moses, they had Elijah. All these people were gotten from them.
They had important
figures, like the important
figures. Okay.
The important men we read from in the Bible now. They all had them. Yes, they all had them coming from there. So when they talk about it, it's like they have the more understanding, like they will put it like they have the more understanding of what these men have done, who they are, what they look like.
Which of these Bible men came from Africa? None really, is there?
None.
Okay.
Apart from that, Christ was born in Africa.
Born in Africa, was taken to Africa, to Egypt.
Yes.
Right. Okay, let me go straight to the point. Let's talk. Were you here when we're talking about circumcision? The people in your ethnic group, do you know if they're circumcised? Are you, if you don't mind? How's right?
We do. Yeah.
You do.
We do.
What
7
day
days
or what?
After birth. Yeah.
7 days after birth.
Yes.
What part of the north, if you don't mind?
Every part of the northern.
Everywhere.
Everybody, every northern person circumcised seven days after birth.
I don't think so, but that's fair enough. So how did Africans learn circumcision? Are you aware?
I've not really thought about that, but
right, because
I've not really thought about how we learned about this.
Yeah, where did it come from?
But we know that circumcision happened in the Bible. It first happened in the Bible.
Okay.
Where God told Abraham to cut off the foreskin of his son Isaac,
including his own foreskin. By the way, go ahead.
Yes, and all his male servants.
Right.
To be accepted, to be pleased, or to be satisfied before his sight.
Yeah, eventually. So where did Africans learn that from? Who brought it? Is it Abraham or is it? Have you thought about that?
I'll say God.
Yeah, God. But
because that was like a direct instruction coming from God to Abraham.
Yeah, but how did they? Okay, maybe God told Abraham and told Africans some other time, maybe.
No. Okay.
No, it's not a trick question. It's not a sarcastic question, actually.
No,
we're really
I get
thinking
your
from
point.
first principles. Christianity.
Okay, Christianity came to Africa very, very much later than it came to the Western, and they first received Christianity, the message of the good news, before we did.
Okay, so
the Western brought the good news. So I would say they made us have that knowledge of circumcision.
Good, that's a smart one. So it's not a trick question. But let me now tell you flash news. Did you know that the Africans were circumcising before either the missionaries or the colonizers came? Are you aware?
I I no.
You're not aware. Good. It's something you should be aware of.
Yeah.
In fact, if anything, they try to stop you from circumcising, but you will not accept. So, if you knew this then and you ask your theological lecturers, they wouldn't like your question because it's disturbing their salary. Come on, are you telling me I don't know what I'm saying? You see. So they used to give bride price in Africa. Where did bride price also come from? That one is more common all over the place. But it's an instruction, it's a Bible thing. Right? It's
a Bible thing.
Yeah, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah. And they gave bride price in Africa before colonizers came. In fact, if anything, colonizers, if you are not married right now, I don't think the fun part of your marriage is going to be the bride price part. That's the boring part. You want the white garment. You want the black suit and the white dress, and that's not really your culture. Long story short, what the colonizers brought, if anything, is that white gown and black suit. Most people some would not even pay the bride price.
Okay, when we studied African traditional religion, that is us going back to the religions of our forefathers, even before Christianity came in. There were certain things that we already had. You understand? Like the bride price, the worship of God. We already had the worship of God, but we were not worshiping God Almighty. We were probably worshiping trees, stones.
No. There's a name for God in your language. It's not a stone.
Yes.
There's some that worship stones, to be fair, okay? But there are names for God in African culture. One God, by the way. They can be a little bit of, But in our language, they call him Olodumare. Do you understand Yoruba language? It's like you spend time in Western Nigeria.
A little bit.
So there is something called Chukwu. Chineke is not a rock or a stone. It's a person, being that created us.
Yes.
It means again.
So what they did for us was...
Okay, go ahead.
Sorry. What they did for us was give us a broader understanding of what we did. They built on what we already had and make us see it from another shade of light. That's why I say some of us already worship stone. Like, I know a part of Yoruba people that worship iron, called Ogun.
It's one of the idols. You're right. Actually, that person is probably a person that deified. You're right.
So what they made us believe is, instead of worshiping that person, why don't you just go straight to God?
I see your point. But there were people that were monotheistic in that sense, that were not polytheistic in Africa. In fact, Africa is more, if anything, because all those gods eventually, even those that worship stone, which they shouldn't, right? They still have the monotheistic person who's on the top, you see. And it is African warriors that have oftentimes been deified and become idols. But bride price has been existing before, right? And circumcision has been existing before. I don't understand so much of Hausa language, just a few. I would have shown you Hausa words, and I have a few Yoruba words and Igbo words that are inside. She's not a Hausa.
I hear Hausa, but I'm not Hausa. I'm from that part.
But what part?
I can identify the words.
Yeah, but what part are you? So I don't call you Hausa. Are you Fulani? Are you Fulbe?
I'm from Kebbi State.
Kebbi State.
From your side.
Kebbi, okay.
No, he might have got your accent.
She's Zuru.
I'm from Kebbi State. Zuru. How do you know?
Maybe your name.
What do you mean?
What do you mean?
No, not the name. No, not the name. Because, like I told you yesterday, I was talking about the middle belt, right? So we have Christians from Kebbi, Sokoto, who are the Zulus. That's the Bami, Ishaya Bami, and the Musa Bami, them, right? And I have an uncle that married a Zulu woman.
She said, "How did you know?"
So I know when you hear Christian Northerners.
Yeah, we've got it to gang.
Yeah, because when she's from Kebbi, I know that is a Zulu dad. Yeah.
I'm from Kebbi. That's actually my local government. I'm from Zulu local government.
Okay, so it's got quite a lot. Sorry. Is it
I'm just surprises.
Because you understand this thing. But you saying all Africans worshiping stone. Some are just laughing in the comment. But it's okay. So, long story short, don't forget the interview. I hope you have pasted it somewhere so you can go search it when we are done. Nuraya, are you there? I'm hearing Nylon as if she's bringing out Papa from inside Nylon to chop.
I'm there, sir. I'm there, sir.
Are you busy?
No. I kind of pressed my mute button by mistake.
Yeah, it's okay. So, watch that interview. I hope you have pasted it somewhere. You can go Google it or YouTube it and watch.
Yeah.
Hello?
I have written it somewhere.
Okay.
I followed that image. I was in it.
So one of the problems, or one of the reasons we're bringing this is Africans, some worshipped idols, okay, unquestionable, okay? But there are some that actually know the true God, the one true God, right? But one of the reasons why this is important is there's been excessive, I can't even remember many of the advantages of it at the time I was talking to Mastery, but there's been excessive demonization of the African culture, which needs to be reverse engineered, needs to be unlearned, you see. And this is a big blow on the face of Western whitewashing of history, a very big blow, if you can establish it in the minds of Africans. Because they will see a pope doing incense in the Vatican. They will see a Sele man with white dress doing incense. I'm not saying any one of the two is good, but they will just all of a sudden assume one is good and one is bad. On what basis? Skin color. That's some of the things we need to reverse. I'm not saying pope's incense is good. I'm not saying Sele incense is bad, but I'm saying remove that hypocrisy and remove the whitewashing from your head, from your mind. That's one of the things it does. It does a lot to people's psyche and their self-esteem, if you will, you see. So, Noraya, I wish you can stay unmuted if you don't mind, but I don't even know where to continue, but we have checked the languages, we've checked the cultures, we have checked even locations, Bible locations written in recent maps, and we discovered that this story has to be an African story. Noraya, are you there?
It is not an African story.
Why do you think so? Oh, that's a rhetoric. But have you listened to the reasons why we say it is so? Before you can.
I didn't start with you guys from the beginning, so
of course, you're just reiterating your position, and I got it. But have you listened to our own evidence that I was counting on my fingers the other time? You have not.
Okay, sorry.
No.
But
I'm not
you saying an African story, it's not like saying these people are not real. They just
exactly
built up one story.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying, and that's like, come on, isn't it?
They are real. Actually real.
Sorry?
They are real. You gave an example the other time with Mr. Mastery. If Mr. Mastery had a wife, did so many things, and I picked up his story, and I worked with it and he did not.
Oh, you didn't get me. I'm not saying the story is not real. I'm saying the Middle East guys are not real. That's my point. They are imposters.
Okay.
We missed that. So let me ask you more questions and more things that you didn't know that I can tell you. Now you've learned at least one thing today, that Africans circumcised before the Europeans came in any way, at least not in this 1400s, right? They circumcised before then. They did bride price before then. That's a new one. Something to think about, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Let me look for another one. Can someone help me? It's like I'm tired. Some of the points, something she might not have known. It's like I'm actually tired. Hey, you're driving on.
Yeah, I'm talking about. I lost the car. Ancestry. How many gods did they serve? Is it one or two? Because I don't think the Northerners were worshipping those. There are many monotheists.
But I'm not sure she spends so much time among, in Kebbi with grandparents and all.
You should have heard about it.
I did. We have Garmashe. We have Tarua Wanta. We have. I'm waiting without that God we worship. Where did they worship? Where did they worship? I know Tarua Wanta.
Correct.
I can't remember. That's the two common ones I know.
Okay.
Because
let's run through these. Let's run through these.
Yeah, but they paid bride price. They paid bride price before they paid bride price, which the white boys.
Yes.
Yeah, we've established that one. Some of the cultures. Let me try.
And then when a man dies, when a man unalives, his brother can take over his wife. They pass it down their culture to continue his generation.
Do you know that's from the Bible?
Yeah.
What Mr. Gang said. Do you know it's from the Bible?
They do.
Yes, that is so much from the Bible.
Right. Do you know it wasn't
We
the
also
Europeans that taught
practiced.
us?
Good. And it was practiced before they came.
It was practiced before they came.
Do you get it?
It started with Jacob or so.
Jacob, at least Jacob, actually, you're right.
Judah, it started with Judah, something.
Very close, you're right. Judah did something very close because, kinsman redeemer. So another one, where do you think that came from? Judah did it, or God told Judah?
She said, sorry, Minister. She said they also practice something. She wanted to say something, sorry.
We also practice where if you want to marry, I don't know if they still do it, but then if you want to marry, the man will work. If you want to marry me, for instance, if we were traditional worshippers, you would work on my father's farmland for a specific amount of money.
Oh, like payment for that dowry in form of working, right?
Yes, and that was what this
like Jacob did, right?
Yeah,
Yes,
that's an
that was what
interesting
Jacob
one.
did.
That's an interesting one. Of which Europeans don't do that. I hope you know, especially non-Netherlands people.
No, they don't. They don't.
Okay, right. So now, question: where do you think? Let's say the Bible people learned it. Da 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 da. So who taught Africans those things? What are your thoughts? How did it get to Africa before these guys came?
I would say that was more like a cultural custom something. That was something I would say though, people sat down, believed these were things they wanted to inculcate in their custom, tradition, culture, which somehow aligned with what we have in our Bible.
But circumcision is not
as much as
Go ahead.
as much as some people will say that is not coincidental. It just like maybe Africans copied it, or like we would say Christianity is a black man culture.
Okay.
But again,
let me make it tighter. Circumcision is very difficult to stumble into. If you want to cut a child's skin for any reason, God told you think it's hygiene, you think it's spiritual. Okay, let's say somebody cut foreskin. How come they are doing it on exactly the 8th day? I don't think you can stumble into that. What do you think happened?
The circumcision that I've had from African histories, not all do happens on 7th day. I think I've had the one that the man must be up to age, ready to marry, and then they cut off the first skin, which is very painful.
Oh, exactly.
Very,
it doesn't make sense. By the way, I am thinking that the reason why the one I've even heard is not even about to marry. Why do you do that when you're about to consummate your marriage? It's going to make it difficult when you are in pain. I think that's crazy. But I think what I hear in Southern Africa and deeper inside Hausa land, or northern Nigeria, is that they do it around 14 years old, which is just about the age that Ishmael did his own. And in fact, I think people from that place are actually from Ishmael. Age 14, thank you, Nubian King, even before I said it. That is just too coincidental. Just too coincidental, right? So think again. How do you think those two cultures were doing it? Just think. Fresh idea.
That on a more sincere note, I've never thought about circumcision because I know that I always believe, if not you saying it now, I always believe circumcision was brought to us by Christianity. Then from the papa that I had at much older age, people used to circumcise. But if I was to think about it, I would probably put it this way. Now, Africans are known to be high-minded culturists and traditionalist people. No, not like practice traditionalists, but we have a very high standard for tradition. We believe that everything has a rule for it. An African man will tell you, for this to happen, this needs to be done, this needs to be achieved, and this needs to be achieved. So probably I would say this is maybe something people or a particular set of group of people, ethnic or someone at a particular time, thought about in a deeper knowledge and felt like they needed to do it. They really needed it, because when you look at the penis with the foreskin, it does not look pleasant. It is one of the ugliest part of the human's body. Now when you cut out the foreskin, it looks beautiful, it looks okay. So maybe the person...
I still kind of disagree. Sorry for the echo. Sorry. I still kind of disagree. Two reasons why. Now, it's a possibility. Only that it's not very probable. Do you understand that difference, Nuraya?
Okay.
It's a possibility,
Yes,
but the probability is low. Okay? For two reasons.
Wow.
Number one, there's maybe ugly parts, many places you could circumcise or incise or cut off. Okay? That's the first problem. Second problem is, why did it happen exactly on the 8th day? Most people that circumcise on the 8th day. Second problem. Third problem is this, that why has it not died out over the years? If it was just a random thought, hey, to look more beautiful, more fine, let's just remove this part, it looks more nice. It should have died out, and it's still there all the while. I think it's possible, but the probability is low. You know, that's what I think. But let's move from that a little bit. It's something to think about. By the way, my answer to that is that Abraham was an African man. Right, and it's a story that was exported, rebranded, not too much really, to be fair, okay, and brought back as a religion, Abrahamic religions. I don't know if you got my position.
That's Abraham's story is an African story.
That the man is actually African, dark skin.
Nah, he's not.
No, I understand. You're telling me your position, but you understand what I said. I know you don't agree, but you understand my position.
Yes,
right.
I understand what you said.
Because it's more plausible. In fact, let me give you a middle ground. It's more plausible to say that somebody somewhere, like one guy was trying to say 70 AD, they have taught us that practice long ago, then they went back to the Middle East. How about that?
That's fair. That does not mean that whatever happened there is not real.
Oh no, our argument is not about reality. We're talking about probability. What I'm saying is that that's a more plausible explanation that somebody came to teach us from Middle East than to say that somebody stumbled into it. You don't stumble into cutting an 8-day-old boy. You can bleed to death if you don't do it properly. The child can have problems. So I'm saying it's more probable that somebody came to teach us, right? And we continue doing it without knowing the reason than to say that somebody stumbled into it. That's more probable. Do you get my point?
Yeah.
Just more probable. Yeah.
Let me. I don't know if this is going to make any sense or going to connect something.
Yeah.
But just to say, at the initial part, the world was speaking one language.
Brilliant.
We all said from the creation of the world, God gave us one language. We lived one. There was no division. At the time of building the Tower of Babel,
Scattered.
we scattered.
Yeah.
At the time of Abraham, there were other people who did other things. We were from different parts of the world, but we still spoke one language. It was at the time of Babel we divided into different languages to not be able to understand ourselves, to be able to build the Tower of Babel. Now, I want to give this point. If we all did the same thing from the time of Abraham till the time of Tower of Babel, we had knowledge of those things, right? Now, if at the Tower of Babel we differed, we didn't differ from knowledge. We differ by just language. You were able to speak Yoruba, I was able to speak Hausa, someone was able to speak BBO TV. Our knowledge went on with us. So I could say one man decided to live where he was and move down to Africa with his knowledge and decided to start it over again in Africa. I would want to say that if one man could carry that knowledge from Israel, cross oceans, seas, mountains down to Africa, it could still be like that. Or if one man could just sit down in his salon and decide that I want to cut my child foreskin at the 8th day after his birth, and people believe in it. So
yeah, that's a more plausible one. But if we are staying on that, that wouldn't apply to circumcision especially. Why? Circumcision was introduced after the tower. That's if I had to use that, but I get your logic, right?
And that means what you're saying, after the man left, he came uncircumcised and he continued that way, which was not the same with
Yeah, it was God that told Abraham as the first.
All of them were not circumcised at the time.
No, when God told him, he circumcised himself, his child, and all his male servants.
Yeah,
and it was a continuous practice. They didn't stop it.
But then the Tower of Babel had happened.
Oh yeah, true. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what he's saying. He understands that timeline is in his mind.